Sophia's, and welcome to another episode of Orc Talk. On today's episode...
Welcome back to the couch.
Yeah. Oh my god, do you know what I realised the other day?
What?
We have done so many, and we haven't said our slogan, and it took us like 3 hours to come with that.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yes.
Should we say it now?
Yes. The Couch Conversations.
Where we discuss all things taboo to make them less awkward for you.
So today we're returning to our favourite topic of conversation, vaginas. But more specifically, we're going to be discussing periods today.
Yes. So as to continue with our practice of not wafting on for 47 minutes, we've decided to structure this Orc Talk also into 3 segments. So we have process, pain, and personal.
I got my period when I was 14. How old were you?
I was only 12. I was a literal 12-y.
So we've had our periods for a good decade. But to be honest, I still genuinely don't know what the fuck goes on.
No, I just know that I bleed.
Yeah, honestly, it's like
I'm not sure why.
suddenly I'm bleeding. I'm like, cool. So I've got my period. Whatever.
I'll just plug it up for a few days.
Yeah, yeah. But I genuinely actually don't know what the process is. So what we thought we would do today is sit down and discuss that with you for our sake, but hopefully for yours as well. So let's just dive right in there, shall we? We'll obviously be chatting about the process of a period, but depending on your contraceptive methods will depend on your cycle, obviously. So
this is a purely natural period that we're talking about.
Yeah, so if you've got like the Marina or the bar, you probably won't have a period. If you're on the pill, you might skip a period, but we are both just natties at the moment. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about the cycle of a natural period.
What actually is a period?
You tell me.
I'm back to understand what your period is, you kind of have to take a step back and look at the whole menstrual cycle. I literally thought your menstrual cycle was like the bleeding part.
Yeah, same.
That's actually entirely false. And, you know, after a decade, I feel like maybe it is time to kind of understand our pussies and our bodies and understand why we're bleeding.
Sure.
So the menstrual cycle is a 28 to 29 day period. So basically, there are 4 main phases in the menstrual cycle.
Right.
So there's menstruation, obviously, and then there is the follicular phase.
What?
There is ovulation and the luteal phase. I hope I'm saying those 2
We're
correct.
probably not,
Honestly, I know what ovulation is because on Friends, Chandler took one of Monica's ovulation tests to see if he was ovulating. So
the TV show.
That's how I know the word ovulation. I know the word menstruation from like everywhere. Like that's like a common term.
Yeah.
But follicular and luteal, like what the fuck?
Yeah, don't know.
Big what the fuck energy there. Don't know what
That's
that
okay.
means at
We've
all.
got notes to figure it out.
That's what these are for. Okay, so menstruation is actually the bleeding part.
Yep.
So that's the part that we're familiar with.
That's all we know.
Yes, so, but if we're gonna get technical,
We are.
which,
Of course.
of course we are,
We are.
your period blood isn't actually just blood. Strap in.
Oh god, what else is it?
Basically what it is it's actually your thick, plushy uterine lining.
Oh my god, I couldn't think of a worse combination of words.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So basically what happens is your uterus, in preparation for a fertilized egg, gets nice and thick and juicy, so that if an egg does attach and it's fertilized, that it can be like properly nourished and everything like that.
nice.
Yeah, it's a bit sweet. So if your egg isn't fertilized, your thick plushy skin actually comes out of your puss.
Oh.
That plushy lining in addition to blood and mucus.
That's gross.
Yeah, so
But sure.
who wants to vomit?
Yeah.
I do. So the next one is the big scary word one, which is the follicular phase.
Right.
So this one can get a little bit confusing. The follicular phase begins on the first day of menstruation
Okay.
and ends with ovulation.
Okay.
Okay, got it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of big words in this one that I've
I
had to
believe in
Google
you.
translate. So the hypothalamus, which is a little part in your brain that controls hormone, or doesn't control it, but it aids in hormone production, prompts the pituitary gland. No, pituitary gland.
Yeah.
to produce a hormone called follicle stimulating hormone, or FSH. So basically what that hormone does is it prompts the ovary to then produce about 5 to 20 follicles, which are like little cysty things that like bead on the surface of your ovary.
Okay.
So each of these follicles only one of the follicles matures into like a big, like high school,
Cute.
really grown up egg.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them die.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, mad. But for the big
Mature bad boy.
mature like egg, she survives. So that whole thing happens around day 10 of the 28-day cycle, and that whole shebang is what leads to the uterus getting nice and thick.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why it's important.
Next up is the big O, and it's not orgasm like we want.
Yeah, we wish.
Unfortunately, it's ovulation. Now, ovulation occurs on around day 14.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere around there, an egg is released from one of the uteruses. We're cutting that all. We're cutting that all. And starting again.
One of the uteruses.
So no one's gonna ever believe
100%.
us.
I'm putting that in. Sorry.
Let me go again. Somewhere around day 14, an egg is released from the ovaries and begins its journey down the fallopian tubes to the uterus. Now, this is a phase where you are highly contagious of catching a baby. So, if you are having sexual...
Fucking run.
Yeah, if you're having sex, you need to be really, really careful around this day. Or, on the other end, if you're trying for a baby, go hard around this time. If sperm is present in the fallopian tubes at this time, this is when it can fertilise that egg.
This egg.
But if the egg isn't fertilised, then poor darling will just disintegrate after
And
about
throw
24
a massive
hours.
fucking tantrum.
Yeah. So once the egg is released, the follicle seals over, and this is called the corpus luteum, which produces a hormone called progesterone.
She's made little notes of how to say the word.
So then this leads to the final stage of the show, which is called the luteal phase. Okay, so this is where old mate corpus luteum either continues to produce that progesterone hormone, if there is a baby in there. But if the egg was not fertilised, then hormonal changes signal to the uterus to prepare shedding its lining. So then the egg breaks down and it sheds along with that lining, and hence the beginning of the god-awful bleeding. Full circle, and we're back all the way to day 1 of menstrual bleeding. Ta-da!
That's it.
That's the whole cycle. I don't know why we didn't know that was easy as.
Yeah, the hormones shed and fucking shit. So let's move on to our next segment, which is pain.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't ever really have super painful periods. My
Lucky gal.
vagina really likes me. I
She's
feel like
a
we
good-
have a great relationship.
She is a good plushy egg.
Yeah. If I ever do have a painful period, it's usually just like on the first day. And like I could count the amount of times I've needed to actually take an ibuprofen
Really?
on one hand. Yeah. But in saying that, even though I don't have painful periods, without a doubt, every single cycle I get ovulation pains.
Yep.
And they suck a massive bigger dick than period pain.
Yeah.
They're like in your lower abdomen, on like just inside your hip bone.
Yeah.
It's like a really dull, like unwavering, shitty ache that sticks around for about like 24 hours. And it actually alternates between which one, because the pain itself actually comes from
The ovaries,
whichever ovary is releasing the
big
mature
gal
ego. Like I wasn't even sure I had 2 ovaries.
Oh, see, I knew that.
Oh, did you?
I think
Because
I
you
did.
call them uteruses, so. Ovulation pain is like totally normal.
Mm.
It just shouldn't be, like if it's really debilitating or if it lasts longer than like 48 hours, then it's probably something to bring up with a doctor.
No, I'm the same. I can definitely feel myself ovulating. Around mid-cycle, I get like a bit bloated actually. Like my stomach gets a bit bloated and I just really like really funky.
That's not good.
Yeah, and then like without a doubt, like 2 weeks later, periods there.
Oh.
But I get like quite crampy the first few days of my period, and I always get a headache.
Really?
Yes, ibuprofen becomes my best friend. I don't get any like cravings as such on my period, do you?
No, neither do I.
Because I've heard that can be quite common.
Yeah, some people are like, mad crave sugar.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I crave sugar all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so our final segment is personal. So we are going to talk about our first periods. I remember my first period as clear as day. It was like 3 days before my 14th birthday. And I woke
That
up.
is specific.
Oh yeah. It scarred my soul, honestly. I woke up, went to the toilet and had like this like brown, like skid mark looking thing in my underwears. And I was like, did I shit myself during the night? Like, what's going on here? That's not normal, by the way. So I called my friend because she had just got her period like in the past few months as well. And I was like, hey, could this like brown skiddy mark in my underwear potentially be my period? And she's like, yes, big yes. And I was like, oh God. So then like the awkwardest shit part of having to tell my mum, she was like, gave me a big hug. She's like, my big girl's all grown up. And I was like,
that's so
oh,
cute.
stop. And then my dad found out somehow, like everyone knows everything in my family. My dad found out and legit asked if he could still hug me. And then my brother Aaron found out and literally called me like a filthy bitch and wouldn't speak to me for like 3 days because he thought I was gross. So it was a lot.
Yeah, wow. That's quite an ordeal.
Yeah, it was.
Mine, I remember it quite well as well. It was holidays, so I was home from school, and my mum was at work, and my oldest sister was at work, so it was just me, my sister Zoe, and my dad home. And I knew what it was because I'm not fucking stupid.
You didn't think you shit yourself?
No. I was younger than you too. I was like, I have my period now. So yeah, I remember going to the toilet and I was like, oh fuck, here we go, alright. And I was like, oh my god, my mum's not home, like, what am I gonna do? So, and I remember I didn't really know where anything was, like I didn't know where the pads were.
Yeah.
I sure as shit wasn't gonna use a tampon because I don't think I would fit anything up
Yeah,
there at age
same.
12. I went and told my sister Zoe and I was like, Zoe, I think I'm a period. And she was like, oh, okay, like mum keeps her pads here, like you can use them. She like went into the bathroom, opened the cupboard, and there were no pads left. Zoe didn't have a license yet, we were too young. So,
oh dear, you had to tell Steve.
yeah, Zoe was like, Phoebe, we don't have any pads, so I'm gonna have to ask Dad to go to the Craignish store and pick some up. I was like, no, I'd rather bleed out. There's no way. She was like, I'll do it for you, because she could see how traumatized I was. So I sat in the bathroom and I heard the whole thing.
Oh,
she went out into the lounge room and she was like, Dad, can we please just go to the Craignish store? And Dad's like, for fuck's sake, I just got back from going into town. I'm sick of driving around everywhere.
Classic Steve, I love it.
Throws this big tantrum. He's like, why do I need to go to the Craignish store? And Zoe goes, Phoebe just got her period. And Dad's like, okay, no worries, yeah, we can go to the Craignish store, it's no problem at all. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh my god.
And then they went to the Craignish store, came back with the pads, Zoe came in, and then I like sorted myself out, went back out to the lounge room, and Dad was sitting on his recliner just like watching TV. And I walked in, he's like, you okay, Phoebes? I was like, yeah. And I don't think we've ever spoken about my period since.
That is so funny. That's honestly brilliant. But I think that's all we've got time for. Thanks for watching. If you do, I want to hear that or first period stories.
First period stories,
Yeah.
please.
Please
They're
tell us.
so funny.
They are good.
Bye. Isn't it amazing what egos can create?
Yeah, I know.
Look at you and me.
I know.
We were just egos once.
We were little mature big girly egos, ready to
We're
be
like,
fertilized by some sperm.
fuck you, you die, you die, you die.
I'm a big girl. See ya. Here I go down the fallopian tube.